Terry McLaurin, and Terry McLaurin, his price point right now is 70.9. His old day ADP is 78.6. So he's up 7.7 spots. Who's going to take it first?
Steve, you seem to like Terry, so why don't you go first?
Yeah, I do like Terry. I've always liked his talent, and I think he's just struggled with bad quarterback play. You know, Carson Wentz, Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett. I'm probably missing a name in there somewhere. But yeah,
maybe Alex Smith.
It's possible. Maybe back in 2019. Yeah, this is going to be his 6th year in the NFL, and he's had 1,000 yards 4 seasons in a row, despite that poor quarterback play. His touchdowns just never really have got up. I mean, 4, 5, 5, 4. So now you're bringing Jayden Daniels, should be the best quarterback he's had. Carson Wentz was horrendous. Sam Howell's Scam Howell, as Anthony likes to call him. So 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. About 70. Basically like almost 80 catches a year. That's what he's pretty much averaging, about 120, 130 targets. So just got to get those touchdowns up. Why not? Why not with Jayden Daniels? Why can't this offense improve? Why can't he get to maybe 7, 8, 9 touchdowns? Maybe get to, 2022 numbers, maybe like 1,200, 1,300 yards. So, yeah, I think this is the year. I've kind of been out on Scary Terry the past couple of years, but I'm going to go after him this year a little bit here. I think I'm in on Terry McLaurin this year for sure, so I see why he's moving up the boards a little bit. I like Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I make the comp here. I feel like Terry McLaurin's situation's a little bit similar to DJ Moore.
Right. I was going to say that.
Yeah, like just really bad quarterback play, but target monster. I mean, 134, 131, 120, 130 are his last 4 years when it comes to total targets. He hasn't had a season outside of those 4 years with under 77 catches. Like, it's just really about getting into the end zone, and it is really hard to predict guys going to the end zone. But DJ Moore, right before he came over, he had 135 targets, 118, 162, 118. So like, if you take the average of what DJ Moore had on a yearly basis, Terry actually has averaged more catches per season than DJ Moore over that 4-year stretch before joining the Bears. So if you my take on it is, if you believe in Jayden Daniels and you think this offense will be better, Terry McLaurin should absolutely finish higher this year than he has in years past, and I love stacking him. He's at a value where Jayden Daniels is also at a value. I've been getting pieces of Daniels in best ball with the rushing upside as a QB2, and I absolutely love stacking Terry and Daniels, and I think Terry's due. This is the year. I mean, we've been waiting for it with him, and he's kind of like similar to Cortland Sutton in a way too, where it's just like talented guy that's just been held back by just
and he's been going 3rd, 4th round past couple years, like 4th round. So now you get him in the 6th round.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I like what you guys are saying, and this is a big reason why I get down on like this year's neighbors, or in the past McLaurin and DJ Moore. But then last year, DJ Moore goes to a better situation, a quarterback upgrade. We are seeing this with Drake London getting the quarterback upgrade, and that means a lot. And Terry McLaurin is finally, we believe, is getting a quarterback upgrade. And because of year after year of struggling and not producing in fantasy football, his ADP is the lowest we have ever seen it. Now, it'll fluctuate. It could trend up a little bit. If Jayden Daniels looks good and people get the film on him in practice and see Terry McLaurin, catching some balls. But right now, I don't mind taking McLaurin. We have to realize this is a guy, if we look at his fantasy finishes and fantasy points per game, his best career finish was wide receiver 20 in 2020, wide receiver 22 in 2022. Last year falls back a little bit as a wide receiver 34 in fantasy points per game. I don't mind drafting McLaurin because I do believe he'll finish better than he had last year. I think he's going to be a top 24 receiver in fantasy points per game. He certainly is the alpha on this offense. And again, the Cliff Kingsbury system, they want to push the ball downfield. And I think Terry McLaurin has the skill set to make some plays. He was 8th last year in deep targets. If Jayden Daniels is an upgrade over the quarterbacks they had last year, and Cliff Kingsbury keeps, if he decides, hey, McLaurin's our alpha, we're gonna give him those deep targets like he had in years past, and Jayden Daniels can connect, then I think special things can happen. This is another situation. Catchable target rate. McLaurin was 76th in that category. So what does that mean? 85 of his 130 targets. So he was targeted 130 times and only 85 were catchable. That number goes up. So does Terry McLaurin's fantasy production. So yeah, I'm in on him.
He's been healthy too. 3 straight years of 17 games, and he's battled high ankle sprains throughout his career.
Yeah. The last thing I'd say on it, and then we're more than happy to move on. I'd be willing to take him over Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, who are guys. These are just some guys going ahead of him. Tank Dell, Zay Flowers at their ADPs, who are going ahead of Terry. Christian Kirk, I could be swayed either way on them. And then I prefer George Pickens and Amari Cooper. But I would definitely take him over T. Higgins and Zay Flowers.
What about Neighbors?
Personally, I don't like the cost on Neighbors, so I'd prefer the discount. I mean, Neighbors is wide receiver 18, Terry's wide receiver 31. You're getting about almost a 2-round discount on Terry, and I prefer that. It's a guy that we've seen do it, and I think Anthony brings up a great point. Like when you look at Neighbors, like does Neighbors fall into that Terry territory?
Yeah,
not to. I know that wasn't on purpose, but does he fall into that territory where it's just the Chris Olave territory, right? Where if Chris Olave doesn't finish as a wide receiver 1 this year, like what do we do with this guy? He's stuck with Derek Carr. Like the quality of targets just aren't great. So I would definitely take Terry over Neighbors right now at his cost.